I used to clean up after him, not in the way a PR team polishes up a scandal, but in the real. Raw waist-scrubbing vomit off Versace rugs at 3 in the morning, hiding evidence before his wife came home, or flushing white powder down the toilet. While he screamed from the hallway, "Don't you touch that!" I touched it anyway. My name is unimportant, so is his. But if you've scrolled through any social media feed in the past 5 years, you've seen his face. Maybe even reposted one of his inspiring quotes about staying clean, staying humble, or saving the planet. Hypocrite. I know what he does when the cameras go off. I wasn't hired through some elite agency. I got in through a cousin's cousin, who said the guy needed someone discreet. No resume, no questions. It's just a non-disclosure agreement thicker than a Bible, and a weekly envelope of cash that smelled like weed and Chanel blue. The house? Palatial. Somewhere in the hills, far from noise, far from judgment. Cameras everywhere. Not for security, just vanity. He liked to rewatch himself. Even in his own kitchen. The first night I worked there, he came in around 2 a.m. with 3 girls. And one guy, none of whom looked older than 20. They were laughing the way people do when they're too far and jittery, too loud, too hollow. He tossed me a jacket and said, "Get rid of the blood, don't ask." I didn't. I found it on the marble steps, still warm. That night I learned. Bleach and vodka make a decent stain remover. The girl left limping. She came back 2 nights later. Every morning he posted a new video. Meditation at sunrise, he'd say, while I knew he hadn't slept in 48 hours. Or gratitude is my religion, with eyes so red I had to add Vision to the Amazon cart weekly. His followers would flood the comments with fire emojis and king and role model. Meanwhile, his actual morning routine involved railing, lines off the kitchen counter, and screaming at Alexa to play DMX. I never judged. At first, I'd seen worse. My last employer was an old producer who wore robes with nothing underneath. But this man, this influencer, activist, actor, he was different. He believed his own lies. He'd snort cocaine at noon, then go live on Instagram at 1 p.m. talking about sobriety journeys. He once made a TikTok about how addiction nearly took his brother, when he was the one who handed that brother his first pill at 16. I know. The brother told me. In a whisper, hiding in the guest room, asking if I had extra Tylenol for the shaking, I did. I always do. I keep a drawer of it in the laundry room, next to the hidden bottle of brandy and 3 burner phones that aren't mine. Sometimes, I wonder if I'm the bad one. For staying. For not saying anything. For folding his blood-stained white shirts like nothing ever happened. But then I remember, no one ever listens to the help. One time he hosted a party for charities, Save the Dolphins or some shit. There were mermaids in the pool. Literally. Girls in sequin tails floating on ecstasy. Champagne flowed like water. Cameras documented every fake laugh, every handshake with washed-up celebs. I was in the background holding a silver tray of gluten-free sliders while a man in sunglasses pulled a girl into the bathroom. She came out crying. No one noticed. He donated $50,000 that night. The check bounced. A week later, he posted a video crying about how much he cares and how the ocean is dying. He had just flushed 2 grams down the toilet to avoid a surprise visit from his agent. He called it spring cleaning. I've seen him slap a stylist, shove an assistant, fire a driver for looking at him wrong, then post a photo hugging a fan with the caption, "Kindness is everything." I've cleaned lipstick off his bedsheets that didn't belong to his wife. I've watched him beg his publicist to twist the narrative when TMZ almost caught him outside that motel. I've held the leash of his vegan wolf dog while he did things in the hot tub. I still can't unsee. He once asked me if I wanted to be on his podcast. Said it'd be fun to talk about how he gives people chances, how he uplifts the working class. I laughed, said no. He didn't like that. My hours got cut for a month. But the silence in that house got louder. This isn't a cry for help. It's not revenge. It's just ... truth. Ugly, bitter, and real. You can keep worshipping him. Keep buying the supplements he doesn't use. Keep reposting his affirmations. Know every time you see his perfectly filtered face, there's someone behind the camera cleaning up his mess, and that someone used to be me. He had a room no one talked about. Even the other staff pretended it didn't exist. The security camera skipped over it. The smart lights didn't reach it. It was 3 doors deep, past the wine cellar, behind a fake wall lined with antique books. And he only opened it when the moon was full. No joke. Energy is real, he once told a model with more implants than IQ points. The full moon cleanses the soul. What it really did was bring in a new batch of fresh faces, barely legal. was barely conscious, barely human. I never went into the room, not fully. I saw it once, half opened while I was fetching more towels. The air coming out was hot, humid, and wrong. Like breath that's been trapped too long. I caught a glimpse of red lights. Not the sexy kind. More like a crime scene. And a mask. Hanging on the wall, not a party mask. A predator's mask. He told his fans he was celibate. Said sex clouds the spiritual path. That week, I found 10 different G-strings stuffed behind couch cushions. Once, I walked in to deliver a phone charger and saw a girl curled up naked. In a dog bed, she barked at me. I didn't blink. Just left the charger and closed the door. His manager called it networking. The guests were always influencers, dancers, C-listers with big lips and smaller boundaries. They came in giggling. They left silent. Some never came back. One girl dropped her bracelet near the stairs. I picked it up, had her name on it. I Googled her later, found her TikTok account. Last post was 2 years ago. Caption said, "Going to the hills tonight? Wish me luck." Comments were full of rips. He had this ritual. Before every party, he'd light candles and chant nonsense in a language I knew he didn't speak. Then he'd smear black eyeliner under his eyes and say, "Tonight we transcend." What they really did was descend into powder, pills, power games. One guy came out of that room with scratch marks on his back and no recollection of the past 8 hours, he laughed. That was wild. I saw him cry in the bathroom later, and then, like clockwork, he'd wake up at noon, pop a B12 shot, film himself doing yoga on the deck. Balance is everything, he'd whisper to his phone, voice hoarse from screaming the night before. We must be light in this dark world. Comments exploded. King, spiritual daddy, you healed me. Why didn't I scream? But I didn't. I ironed his robes, the ones he wore for interviews. The soft whites and calming pastels. His armor, he never wore black on camera. Said it blocked positive vibrations. Meanwhile, his soul was tar. I once found a journal in the trash, his handwriting. Page after page of mantras, goals, affirmations, all copied. Word for word. From a wellness blog run by a woman he used to date. She sued him. Lost. He bought the judge a Rolex. You ever seen a man pray in the morning, then spit in a maid's face for forgetting his oat milk? Have you ever heard a man cry about trauma on a podcast, then laugh about it later like it was? An inside joke? I have. You ever watched a girl leave a party barefoot, clutching her heels like weapons, mascara smudged like war paint, and pretend not to see it? I did too many times. They say houses absorb energy, that walls remember things. If that's true, his house is cursed. Sometimes I think I hear the walls humming. Not songs, not words, just ... grief. He gave me a necklace once, said it was for protection. A cheap talisman from Bali, probably blessed by some poor monk he bribed. I didn't wear it. I sold it, bought groceries with the money. Because while he preached about minimalism, his fridge was filled with truffle oil and gold-flaked water. Bottles. I drank tap. I don't know why I stayed. Maybe because every time I tried to leave, he'd smile that TV smile and say, "You're not just staff, you're family. Family." Like the cousin he disowned when she went to rehab. Like the uncle who tried to expose him and ended up mysteriously bankrupt. Family. A word he used like perfume to mask the rot. Underneath, people think the devil wears red. But sometimes he wears linen, drinks green juice, and starts every sentence with, "as someone who's healed, ... She was 19. I remember that much. A dancer, not famous. It's not yet. Just hungry enough to believe the promises whispered in penthouses. One night could change your life, he told her. And it did. Just not the way she expected. Her name isn't important, at least not to him. He called her Starshine or Sweet Blood or something equally ridiculous. He never learned real names. Said it disrupted the energy. I learned hers from her. Phone, which buzzed nonstop the next morning. "Where are you?" "Kay, call me please." She never answered, because she couldn't. I wasn't supposed to be working that night. I got called in last minute. Emergency. Said. I thought someone broke a vase again, or overdosed and needed a quiet cleanup. But when I walked in through the service entrance, the air was different. Tighter. Like the house was holding its breath. There was blood. Not a lot, just a trail. Small and dry, leading from the hallway toward the guest room, one of the party rooms. I followed it. Instinct, I guess. The door was open. Music still playing from someone's forgotten speaker. She was on the floor, eyes half open, mouth slightly ajar, dressed but sloppily, bruises blooming like ink beneath her skin. She looked ... paused. Not alive, not quite dead, just paused. Froze. Then he appeared. Calm. Shirtless. A glass of wine in one hand, the other holding his phone. "She's fine," he said. "Just sleeping off a bad mix. Don't be dramatic." I wasn't dramatic. I was shaking. Two men I'd never seen. Before it came in, big, quiet, professional, they carried her out. Not like someone you care about. Like luggage. I didn't ask questions. I knew the answers wouldn't help. I went to the guest bathroom and threw up. That night he posted a story. Candlelight, soft music, a quote about rebirth. Sometimes, you have to let go of energy that no longer serves you. Comments poured in, so deep, you always know what to say. Love and light. The next morning, I checked the news. Nothing. No reports. No accidents. No deaths. Just silence, like she never existed. But the towels in the laundry room were stained red. And her perfume lingered in the hallway for days. A week later, a new girl showed up. Same wide eyes, same nervous laugh. He introduced her as a future star. I avoided her eyes. I didn't want to know her name. It's easier that way. They say fame protects monsters. I disagree. It doesn't protect them. It feeds them. Gives them handlers to bury mistakes. Lawyers to rewrite timelines, fans to worship the mask, and people like me who become ghosts. Silent, useful, disposable. I once tried to report something. Not the death, just ... something smaller. A girl left without shoes, sobbing, bruised. I emailed a contact from a nonprofit he used to promote. You know what they said? "We'll look into it. But if you're making false claims, there could be legal consequences." I deleted the email. He did a live stream 2 days later. Sat in front of a fire pit, crystals in both hands, talking about honoring the divine feminine. Said he was starting a foundation for young women in crisis. People donated. Thousands. I watched from the hallway, still wearing gloves stained from cleaning up vomit. One of the donors commented, "You're proof that men can be good." I laughed. Loud enough that he heard. He stared, said nothing. But the next day, my hours were cut again. That's the game. He wins. He always wins. Because the world wants him to. Because he says what they want to hear, wears what they want to see, and sins just far enough from the spotlight. And me, I collect paychecks wrapped in silence. But I remember. Every face, every scream. Every story erased with bleach and cash, and now, for the first time, I'm writing it down. Maybe no one will believe me. Maybe they'll say I'm bitter, or crazy, or just another invisible servant. That's fine. But at least the truth will exist. Somewhere, even if it's whispered, even if it's buried. He called her my queen online. Always in lowercase, always followed by a white heart emoji. Hashtag wife goals, hashtag power couple, hashtag sacred union. I watched him forget her birthday 3 years in a row. Once he was too high. Another time he was in Tulum, with 2 yoga instructors and a camera crew. The 3rd year he remembered only because his assistant set a 24-hour reminder on every device he owned. He bought her a crystal egg and wrote a poem that ChatGPT could have generated. She played the part well. Soft voice. Flowy dresses. Always holding a matcha or a baby. Her Instagram bio said light worker, healer, mama. She was the only woman I've ever seen apply lipstick before meditating. In private, she didn't talk. She directed. In whispers, yes, but with venom. The linen smells musty again. Why is the child's energy off today? Do not speak when my aura is low. One time I sneezed during her sound bath. She asked if I could cleanse my vibrations elsewhere. But she wasn't the villain. Not really. It's just another player in the illusion. It's trapped in the same performance. He didn't love her. She didn't love him. They loved the idea of each other. The brand, the audience, the perks. He cheated. She knew. She cried once, just once, at 4 a.m., barefoot in the pantry, clutching a jar of almond butter like it held. Answers she saw me. We locked eyes. Then she wiped her tears, fixed her robe, and walked back upstairs like nothing ever cracked. Their child, he was the only real one in that house. Maybe 5 years old when I started. A sweet boy, too quiet, too observant. Kids like that notice everything. He once asked me why Daddy always changes faces. I thought he meant his moods. He meant the makeup, the post-filter glow. He looks different when he talks to the phone, the boy said. I think he has two daddies. One day I found the boy hiding under the stairs, clutching a tablet. He was watching videos of his father, not the filtered, glowing ones. Real ones. Leaked clips, screaming at crew members, grabbing a dancer by the wrist, snorting lines between takes. Is that real? He whispered. I didn't answer, I just sat beside him. We listened in silence as his father, the king of calm, threw a chair off screen. After that, the boy started stuttering. The speech therapist blamed developmental anxiety. Father blamed screen time. The mother blamed Mercury retrograde. No one blamed the truth. He brought his kid on stage once at a wellness festival, lifted him into the air like some organic Lion King moment, said, "This boy saved me," said he made me whole. The crowd cheered. I watched from backstage, holding a towel soaked in the child's actual vomit. He got food poisoning the night before. No one postponed the speech. No one canceled the photo op. They live in a house where apologies are content, where hugs are curated, where dinner's eaten cold because someone has to get the perfect shot. I once saw the kid fall off his scooter, scraping both knees. He screamed loud, raw. His father rushed over, not with bandages but with his phone. "Do it again," he said, "but slower. For TikTok." The boy cried harder. The phone kept recording. I think about leaving, still, but the boy always stops me. Not because he asks, he doesn't, but because he looks at me like I'm the only one not pretending. He once gave me a drawing, stick figures, one tall, one small, and me in the middle. "You're the quiet one," he said, "but you see everything." Yes, I do. He had a team. It's not just assistants or stylists, no. This was an orchestra. A manager who could cry on cue during interviews. A PR girl who specialized in scandal control. A lawyer nicknamed the Silencer. They didn't prevent problems, they crafted them with precision. One time, his engagement plummeted. 3 weeks later, someone leaked a cheating scandal. It's not real. The girl was a plant. She got a Tesla and an NDA. He lost 300,000 followers, then gained 2 million overnight. Crisis sells. Redemption sells better. He once said to me while icing his jaw after a bar fight, "Pain is branding." He wasn't talking to me, he was talking to the mirror, practicing a speech. There was a film crew coming the next day, a documentary about resilience. He showed up in crutches, said it was a hiking injury, added sad piano music in post-production. The charity work was just as scripted. There was the water. Project in Ghana he never went, sent a drone team and edited himself in. There was the school in East LA, donated $1,000, then filmed for 6 hours, made it look like he funded the entire thing. The kids were given branded t-shirts and instructions not to look bored. One day I found a folder in his office labeled Narratives. It's inside. Future headlines. Printed. Pinned. Written. Activist overcomes relapse to inspire millions. From scandal to savior. The healing of a star. How losing my wife made me a better father. That one scared me. Because he hadn't lost her. Not yet. There were scripts for apology videos, drafts, background color options, lists of phrases that tested well with Gen Z. I asked his assistant once, jokingly, "Do you guys rehearse grief now?" She didn't laugh, just stared and said, "It's all timing." He filmed a segment for a refugee documentary in our backyard. Used heat lamps and fake dust. Told a child actor to look hungry but grateful. That same afternoon, he ordered a $400 steak and complained. It was too spiritual, whatever that meant. The worst was the fundraiser gala. A $10,000 a plate dinner to save the Amazon. Real forest, not the company. Guess we're ethically sourced. Silken posted stories with hashtags they didn't understand. The wine was organic, the drugs weren't. One influencer passed out in the koi pond, another tried to fight a psychic. He gave a speech, barefoot, in a hemp suit. Said he felt the trees crying, raised $3 million, less than $200,000 made it. To the foundation, the rest vanished. Consulting fees, production costs, energetic compensation. I know I filed the receipts. Then came the podcast era. He found his voice literally. Low, breathy, full of empty metaphors. We are all just mirrors. We are all just mirrors of each other. Trauma isn't yours, it's inherited. People ate it up. Book deals, tours, merch, triggered hoodies, and $60 water bottles filled with charged intention. They sold out in hours. Fans started mailing letters, gifts, underwear, locks of hair. One girl sent a painting of his eyes. Surrounded by doves and flames, he burned it. then posted a story. So humbled by the art y'all send me. The next day, he asked me if he could trademark the word humbled. He's not evil. That would be easier. Evil is sharp, clear. He's worse. He's hollow. Container filled with whatever people crave. Healing, he sells it. Pain, he performs. It progress, he markets it. I've seen him laugh at disabled fans. I've seen him mock abuse survivors, then post quotes from them. He believes nothing. But he consumes belief like oxygen. And when he's caught on, he always will be. Because that's part of the loop he'll cry. On camera, face lit just right, piano in the background, shirt loose, eyes red, he'll whisper about growth, about mistakes, about how we're all just learning. You'll forgive him again. And me, I'll be behind the scenes, holding tissues for tears that never existed. It started with a photo. Blurry. Taken from across the street. Him. A girl. Not his wife. Not even legal, maybe. Her face was pixelated. His wasn't. The tabloids didn't break it. A fan did. Posted it to a Reddit thread called Why Does This Guy Feel Off to Anyone Else? It exploded in an hour. He didn't panic. Not yet. It's fine, he told his team. This'll pass. He smiled. Rehearsed. Uploaded a post about holding space for healing. The comments were split. Some furious. Some loyal. His publicist drafted a tweet. Something vague and emotional. It never got posted, 'cause more came out. Not just rumors. Footage. Leaked voice notes. A voicemail where he screamed at an intern, threatening to bury her name like I did the last one. Screenshots. A journal entry emailed anonymously to every entertainment site on the West Coast. One quote stood out. If they ever see the real me, burn it all. I knew that line. I read it years ago in a notebook he left on the kitchen island. Back then I thought it was poetry. Now I realized it was a warning, or a blueprint. The press swarmed. Paparazzi camped outside. The family fled to a retreat in Iceland, which was really a 5-star resort in Utah. I stayed. Someone had to feed the dog. Someone had to intercept the subpoenas. Someone had to light the candles for the fake vigil he'd staged in the garden before he ran. Inside the house, it felt ... different, not quieter. Just emptier. The mirrors seemed darker, the rooms colder. Like even the building knew the illusion had cracked. And then, something happened. The kid, his son, found a file on one of the backup drives. A folder named Lightbody. He asked me to open it. Inside were hundreds of videos. Raw footage. No edits. No music. Just him. Drunk. Ranting. Hitting things. Screaming slurs. Crying. Laughing. Cutting himself mid-monologue. Then snapping back to smile and saying, "Let's run that again." The boy didn't cry. He didn't speak. He just stared. Then looked at me and said, "I think Daddy forgot who he is." Kid, he didn't forget. He never was that person. I copied the files. Not because I wanted revenge, but because I knew the machine would start spinning again soon. And they'd try to clean it all up. Rebrand. Rebirth. Rise again. They always do. But this time, I had a piece of the core. Something no team could polish. The rot. Unfiltered. His wife returned first. Said nothing to me. Just walked from room to room, touching things. She didn't ask about the boy, didn't ask about the mess, just stared into the camera she carried. Framing shots like the apocalypse could be curated. He came back days later, thin, pale, angry, not at the scandal. At the pause, he couldn't post, couldn't perform, couldn't be seen. And for him that was death. I was in the kitchen. He stormed in, eyes wild, hair undone. "You think this is funny?" he hissed. "You think I deserve this?" Didn't. Answer, "You're nothing," he spat. "You clean floors. You wipe shit. You're disposable, maybe. But I'm still here, and you're unraveling." He grabbed the hard drive. The one I left out on purpose, plugged it in, watched. For minutes in, he began to cry. Real tears. The kind that come when the lie you built starts looking back at you. He turned to me and said, "If this gets out, I'm done." I said, "Then you better hope I'm still loyal." He looked at me, really looked. For the first time, I think he realized die was the mirror now. That night, I didn't sleep. I opened my laptop, created a folder, the body. I uploaded everything. Not to the cloud, not to a server. Tucked in a safety deposit box under a name no one knows but me. Insurance, just in case. Because monsters like him don't die. They rebrand. They find new masks, new words, new trends. But the truth, it waits. Quiet. Patient. Like me. 6 months. That's how long it took. Not for justice. Not for healing. It's just for silence to settle, like dust over a crime scene no one wants to acknowledge. He disappeared, as expected. A cabin. A retreat. Somewhere with real trees. His wife posted the same day she signed a podcast deal about surviving narcissistic abuse. She was branded the brave one. The Phoenix. Never mind that she knew everything. The team stayed quiet. No statements, no lawsuits. Just time. The trick. Don't fight. Don't deny. Just wait. The public forgets, or wants to forget. Rage is exhausting. Forgiveness is easier, and then he returned. Not with fireworks, not with a bang, just a quiet reactivation of his account. A black and white photo. Him on a mountaintop. Hoodie, hair longer. Eyes sadder. Caption, I'm still learning. Thank you for holding space. 2 million likes in under an hour. The comments were exactly what you'd expect. We missed you. Come back stronger. You're human. We all make mistakes. No one asked about the girl, or the videos, or the real things that happened. Behind the filtered lens, he booked an interview, a healing conversation. Sat across from a friendly host, sipping chamomile tea, voice lower than ever. He spoke about rock bottom, about trauma, about how the internet doesn't allow men to be vulnerable. He cried. Real tears, maybe. Who can tell any more? I watched it from the guest house, alone, holding the remote with the same hand that once cleaned vomit off his sneakers. He mentioned his son. My boy taught me grace. Never mentioned the night he threw a crystal bowl at the wall inches from the child's head. He mentioned his wife. She saw the real me and didn't flinch. He didn't mention the NDA she made me sign the night. She found him with 2 strangers in the soundproof room. He didn't mention me. Of course not. I still had the drive, still kept the folder, still watched the walls, waiting for the rot to grow back. It did. Subtly. A new book deal. A podcast. A candle line. Scents for the soul. One was called Redemption. It smelled like clove and bleach. I got a call from a journalist. She found me somehow. Said she'd heard whispers. Asked if I wanted to speak. On the record, said she could protect me. I said I'd think about it. That night I found a box on my porch. No note, no signature, just a necklace. A cheap talisman from Bali, the same kind he gave me 3 years ago. A warning or a message. We know. Or worse. We're watching. I didn't call the reporter back, but I opened the drive. For the first time in months. Watched the videos, the rawness, the violence, the confessions, the truth. Then I closed it, not out of fear, out of fatigue. Because what happens after the truth comes out? What do people do with it? Nothing. They scroll. They rage. Then they repost his next quote. He wins again, unless I speak. Not as a victim, not as a witness, but as a mirror. The one who never blinked. The one who saw it all. The one he called disposable, but who now holds the only version of him that can't be edited. The invitations came in gold, embossed, scented. A night of healing and hope, it said. His comeback gala, hosted in the hills. Cameras allowed, tears expected. I was invited, not his staff, not his press. His family. I laughed, but I went, not. For the food, not for closure. To look him in the eye. One last time. The house was the same, but cleaner. To clean, like they'd bleached the memory off the walls. He wore white, of course. The new symbol. Rebirth. Innocence. Behind him, crystals, candles, a harpist. In front of him, people hungry to believe. He spoke of pain, of change, of being reborn through the ashes of misunderstanding. The crowd ate it up. Applause, sniffles, selfies. Someone live-streamed it with the caption, "Healing is real." I stood in the back, clutching a flash drive in my coat pocket. A copy, the full story, unedited, raw, not just receipts. Evidence, voices, screams, bruises, blood, moments that couldn't be rebranded. I could have handed it to a reporter. There were plenty. Could have uploaded it to every platform anonymously. Could have destroyed him. But I didn't. Not because he didn't deserve it, but because they wouldn't believe it. Not really. Because the truth is ugly. Uncomfortable. It breaks the illusion people need. And him. He became more than a man. He became a mirror. Everyone who looked at him saw what they wanted: hope, healing themselves. If I cracked that mirror, they wouldn't see him fall. They'd see themselves fooled, complicit, so I stayed quiet. For now, the boy found me at the edge of the garden. Taller now, still quiet, still watching. He looked at me and asked, "Is it all fake?" I looked at the flash drive, then at him, then said, "Not you." He nodded, then walked away, and me. I left before dessert, dropped the flash drive in a river on the drive home, watched it sink, not because I forgave him, but because the truth lives in me now, and one day, if the world really wants to see it, not just glance at it, I'll be here waiting.